Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to take two of today's episode of Below the Line, the show about how movies are made. My name is Andres Ramirez, live from New York City, and I'm here with my good friend and co host, Mr. Cy Houston Scott, live from Vancouver, Canada. How are you, man?
Hey, not too bad. For those asking why it was a take two, it's because our first take got some audio issues with the sound on both of our ends. So hopefully we corrected it for this pass.
If not, there'll always be one for safety.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes, especially with me behind the camera. You know that pretty well.
Oh yeah, very well. Multiple takes, and even though we got to
Unless
move
I'm
on,
unless I'm shooting film,
that's
like
true.
on actual film. How are you? Good?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's been another productive week on my show. There's just a lot to do, catching up with some movies again and seeing how things have been right now in the industry.
Whoa. So, should we start with the news that we hinted last week? The AI actress that apparently some major representative agents are going to represent, and now SAG has spoken against. Multiple people have opinion against. What is your take with that?
Well, I mean, if they're looking for representation, they're not going to find it. Like, who would be her agent, for example, or rep her? Like, it's the people behind or the programmers. Like, this feels like a concept out of BoJack Horseman more than anything with that season 2 episode where they literally replaced him because he ran off from finishing his movie, and apparently that performance was better than the one he was giving in the film. So, I mean, really, it's just a matter of the
Budget.
ethical
Yeah.
budgets. I mean, we've been warned this multiple times too. Just, I mean, look at Black Mirror. They dedicated a whole episode to that with Selma Hayek. So,
Well, that and also the fact that I don't know if you heard, but apparently, what's the name of this film? Fast and Furious is super delayed because of the budget and the lack of a good script.
yeah, no, it all relates to that. They're just trying to cut corners and, reduce the costs. And, movies like that, like the big finale to Fast and Furious, has to get its budget trimmed if they
Finale.
want to make that movie. And we're coming on almost like 3 years since the end of the last one. So when's it going to happen?
Never. I think it's going to get significantly cut. I don't think they're gonna be able to pay off unless they bring James Wan back to direct, but that's besides the point. But we have a huge franchise this week. You're a fan of this franchise, aren't you, Tron?
Very much so. Yes, the new Tron Ares came out this week. Will it be a box office success? Reviews are pretty
No,
middling, but no, yeah, just to throw it
no,
out there.
no. I mean, we already know the answer. It's tracking to make the same thing as Legacy, and that came out in what 2010, back
Yeah,
at the peak of 3D and visual effects were, on their prime, arguably, and directed by arguably the worst Pirates of the Caribbean director. Then
uh,
no, tell no tales.
I'd still argue on Stranger Tides was worse. Dead Man Tell No Tale, but
True, it was after the third everything kind of went down, but you know what I mean.
yeah, I do. But for what it's worth, and going to see this, I have seen the movie, and I'll give my quick thoughts on it. But first, the first two movies. These movies are very interesting because both of them come out at like tech boom eras. The first Tron came out when CGI was becoming a major staple in
Yeah,
Hollywood. I think arguably could be the first CGI film. And yeah, a lot of people can make fun of its effects nowadays, but back then that was a pretty gorgeous looking movie. And hell, even some of it still holds up, like of that era, because I mean, literally, the grid looks like how an 80s computer would. And yeah, its plot is very, not
weird.
important, weird, but you could argue the same for all the movies. Like even Legacy was just more next level Tron. Like the visuals of that movie are gorgeous, but definitely reflects the 2010 period and just, evolving the franchise further. And I don't know, to me, they've got great soundtracks. The first one was done
Yeah,
by G. The second one was done by Daft Punk, and
Daft
this
Punk.
one is Nine Inch Nails. So you're gonna get like these really cool, really experimental, film,
Electric, electric scores.
yeah, electric scores. You don't see much synth scores that are not really there anymore. And top it off with some really cutting edge effects. And Ares does continue that. I really do
Mm,
feel to be a cult fit. I will say this will be another cult movie in a decade or two's time, just like the other two.
it could be. I think its biggest flaw is that it doesn't spend time on the grid. Like they spend time in Vancouver,
That's
and they
fair.
didn't. And they don't even try to make Vancouver look not like Vancouver. I mean, there's literally a shot of BC Place, and you can tell it's the BC Place. I mean, I don't know if they were super influenced by Deadpool, but they shot in that same bridge next to BC Place.
Well, Tron
Uh,
Legacy was also shot in Vancouver. Did you know that?
no, but that was shot in a studio, I bet, in Vancouver,
Some of
not
it was, some of the
outside
other
in the
stuff.
city. No, I think the visuals are good, but honestly, the best part is when they go back to the 80s.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, this one's definitely more the Legacy sequel than Tron Legacy ever was, if that makes sense. Like, there's a lot more references to that first movie, which I
Well,
didn't
this feels like a
mind.
requel.
Kind of. I mean, it's hard to say. It's like, yes, Legacy does exist, but this one definitely takes its cues more from the first movie. It references more the first movie. Whereas Legacy was definitely more a sequel, like it was evolving the story, and yeah, it had its moments, but it was not trying to like reference the first movie again. I mean, with this
To a
one, Tron
certain point.
Ares, it doesn't have Tron in it, like the main character, or not the main character, I should say, but the franchise's namesake, for that matter. Like
Well, the
his
blue
actual
guy.
character. Yeah, because he died at the end of Legacy.
But doesn't Flynn become Tron at the end of Legacy?
I don't think so. He gets evaporated, and you do see him again, and it's barely registers as a cameo. This is very much its own thing. The only thing I can say though that I did not care for compared to the other ones is it doesn't have that scrappy underdog. Because yes, you do have Jared Leto as Ares, who is kind of meant to be that. He's like the
Well,
AI trying to find a human
he's
soul.
like Jesus.
Yeah, he's like the
He's AI
miracle.
Jesus because even the beard and the hairstyle is like Jesus.
Mhm. No,
Um,
my main issue with this is the other main characters that are in this. Greta Lee and Evan Peters as these two warring billionaire, like to me
well,
that loses kind of like the niceness that the first two movies had, because you had the Flynns who, yeah, they weren't rich, they were kind of roguish, but they were geniuses. And now, like, why should we care about these two people who have billions and are just doing like this billionaire off amongst each other? Like,
I think that's a problem with the film. I think it's missing like one part because this feels like a three. It feels like a 3.5 rather than a three. Because Greta Lee has like an interesting backstory. Like her sister was the smart one. She was like the dumb one, whatever. But they don't really explain how she became the president of the good company. And then wasn't Killian Murphy Evan Peters' character in Legacy?
see, that's what I thought. No, this is his grandson, and Gillian Anderson
So
is his mom. So that was his sister that's taking over the company. We don't even know what happened to Killian Murphy. Wouldn't have that made more sense to have him come back in this film and Evan Peters be his son? Like,
well,
things like
maybe he's off doing nuclear bomb somewhere. He's playing Oppenheimer somewhere.
that.
Um, but no, I mean, I thought that was the next in line for the Dellinger family, and I just thought Evan Peters was playing Mark Zuckerberg for like the 10th time. Like he was pretty much Lex Luthor, Zack Snyderverse
No, he
again.
was, to me, he was like Lex Luthor, James Gunn, just kind of screaming and just over the top. Like, He wasn't as annoying
Yeah,
as Jesse Eisenberg, but
no, he was less annoying, but he was playing the same tech bro. I am evil for the sake of being evil. But I sort of felt he was Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk, if you know what I mean.
no, I do. But yeah, we've seen this archetype a lot nowadays, like the billionaire tech genius who basically is just full of himself and yeah, no,
Alien
it's
Earth has the same bad guy,
yeah, Alien Earth does have the same bad guy. We've been seeing
which is
this
the same
all
studio.
year. I think it's ironic that Disney is continuing to have these be the bad guys of their films when literally they are a conglomerate of a billionaire.
But they don't go that far to make the bad guy a weatherman.
True.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. No, I think the visuals are nice. And I think it tries to say something about AI human relationships, but I don't think they understood the rules of the world they were setting up because they have like 3D printer technology at the beginning of the film, and you know they don't really explain like the things that come to the world from the grid are like they are in reality. Like, for example, if you eat an orange from the grid, is that orange full of vitamin C or is it just pixels pretending to be real? So I don't think they explain that. And like AI going rogue, it's an interesting concept, but Jared Leto's performance is so bizarre in his choices. I'm not saying it sucks, I just think it's like bizarre. Like,
Well, we're kind of used to him. I think he's just trying to recapture that Oscar-winning performance he had with Dallas Buyers Club, and man, we'll just never get it. Like it just
dude, this is tracking worse than what was the name of the film? The
Morbius.
Morbius, dude. It's
Yeah,
tracking worse than Morbius.
no, he's not the bankable star people think he is. Like when your biggest claim to fame is being the Joker and the worst DC movie of all time, and being the worst Joker in that, and the worst part of that movie, you should really rethink your career strategy going forward.
Release the Ayer cut. That's all I'm going to say
I don't
regarding
want.
that.
I read that script. I don't want to see that piece of crap on
To be
screen.
fair, according to Peacemaker season finale, he is the Joker of the DCEU.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess if they
If you
want,
know, you know.
if you
Same
know,
thing with
you know.
Harley Quinn. They are officially the Joker and the Harley Quinn of the DCEU.
I mean, that's
James
fine, I
Gunn.
guess.
I
Speaking of
don't think
James
James
Gunn,
acknowledges that, but yeah.
speaking of James Gunn's, have you been following Peacemaker the last 8 weeks?
Uh, how it crashed and burned and kind of ended and basically gave his wife unlimited work at Warner.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, talk about a disappointment of an ending. Like he said the thing was going to set up his Superman sequel and honestly, I kind of want to see a film or DC property that has no involvement with them now. Like we're getting 3 next year, but I really want to see like if this universe can really survive without him because I have no clue where this story is going and he just basically wasted 8 weeks of our time just to this climax with really Rick Flag Sr. being the bad guy for those who don't know. Like I'm not going to spoil anything else.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I have not watched it, but I think James Gunn has to let go of making this the James Gunn superhero universe and ultimately make it the DCU superhero universe. Like, I think Peter Safran has to get involved in the business side of it and withholding, because I think at the end of the day, as much as a creative as he has been, he was always a director for hire.
Mhm.
Like Guardians, he got that as a director for hire. He just happened to introduce the cosmic side of the MCU. But
I agree. I agree.
another movie I watch. What movie are you watching tonight?
What movie am I watching tonight? I am going to be watching something that isn't Tron, but rather it is the Roofman movie.
Oh, I just watched it earlier today. It's so charmingly fun, and you cannot believe this is a real story. But we'll talk about it next week. How does that sound?
Absolutely, I would love to talk about it because I'm excited for this one to see Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst in this true story. But
It's a story that can only happen in the 90s, if that makes any sense.
no,
Like the fact of somebody hiding from cameras seems impossible today, where literally everybody has a camera.
agreed. But it is a story of the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to talk about that and our favorite Halloween movies coming up next, since we are
Yeah.
in the spooky season.
Sounds good. Do you want to sign us off?
You got it for this shorter episode. He's Andres Ramirez. You can follow him at Jaro2096. I'm the Zach Houston. I'd say today's review of Tron, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. You know, definitely I can see
Same.
it becoming a cult classic in the future. Give us a follow at below the line underscore 2025 and listen to us on Spotify. And we'll see you next week, folks.
Bye bye, Zach. Enjoy
Bye
the movie.
bye. I will. You too. See you soon. Bye bye.